Hello. So, in earlier classes, we have seen what is Songs of Innocence as well as we have seen what is Songs of Experience. And in the second class, I have done this lamp and the lamp poetry has been completed. I have already discussed and explained the poem. In today's section, we'll be dealing with the tiger. I'll do line by line explanation of the poem named as the Tyger. Okay, so it's a poem which is part of Songs of Experience. Okay, Lamp was part of Songs of Innocence and that tiger is part of Songs of Experience. Okay, in that poem you get characteristics which are totally opposite to the lamp. In the lamp, if the child narrator was so much at wonder as well as in a happy mood, in a delightful state, after seeing a creature like lamb, an innocent creature like lamb, then in the tiger, a narrator is in a kind of a terror. It's at the same time it's in a awe, but it's in a terror after seeing a creature like a tiger. Okay, so it's part of Songs of Experience. Here you do not get other things which you got in the lamp, like pastoral setting, greenery, or like of a beautiful soothing kind of an image. Okay, here what you'll get. Later start reading, then you'll be coming to know what we are supposed to get here. So the first line says, Tiger, tiger, burning bright. It is saying that tiger, tiger, burning bright. So is it same the lamps is starting? How the lamp was started? Lamp was started like that way. Little lamp. Those don't know who made the. Though that's the starting of the lamp. Okay, but the tiger. Tiger has a very different beginning. Okay, tiger started with the word like with that way, like there have two address being made like tiger, tiger, but here nothing you get find which is addressing in the way that you can connect it with a kind of an innocent creature. Can you? Because in lamp the addressing which was lamp, it was called as a little lamp, but here the tiger and it's saying burning bright, so it's like it's burning. Okay, so again an image which is not giving you a hint that you are going to encounter in other lines something which will make you feel relief. Okay, it will not make you feel relief. Okay, so he is telling tiger burning bright. So while in that lamp it was telling little lamp who made thee, dost thou know who made thee? Harry says that tiger burning bright in the forest of the night. So what the image this poem had created? Is it a positive bright kind of image? Like of a image, it's a kind of a night image. Okay, and night is related to darkness, darkness related to all the terror, all the terrifying thing which we are scared of. So when it says tiger burning bright, burning can mean different thing. Okay, the tiger has a different kind of a fur which color does get connected to the color of a fire, and it may symbolically mean the nature of a tiger which is always ready to hunt. Okay, and it's a kind of a predatory animal. Okay, it's no more an animal like the lamb which is quite innocent and something, because tiger lives in a jungle and is part of that predatory cycle. Okay, so it's burning bright in the forest of the night. It's not like the lamp which is available over the valley and is taking its time to rejoice in his all the thing God has gifted it, be it its tender voice, be it its clothing, wool of delight. It's not. It's having a kind of a existence which has been defined like a in a jungle where it is like present at the night darkness and is burning, so it's creating a beauty. Although it's something you can find that this poem not supposed to give you hint of innocence because it's part of experience, but here too a beauty present. Okay, as you go along to the poem you'll find although the narrator is no more at in a delight, it's in a terror, but still that terror is part of his rejoicing the beauty. Here the beauty no more that innocent beauty, it's a kind of a sublime beauty. Okay, it's a beauty which we can get terrified after watching, but we feel something else. That's the kind of a beauty. Okay, sublime is something like that which is not like something which will give you the appeasement of having that peaceful living. It will not, it will make you quite out of your normal zone, but as well as you find a kind of a like kind of a beauty, isn't it? You will find an aesthetic feeling here too. Okay, we'll see in next part what mortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry. So here the question has been made like what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry. Okay, so in the lamb the question was that dost thou know who made thee? Mean that do you know who made thee? Or second, in the third and fourth line it was like gave thee food, gave thee cloth. So this way it went, but here it's like what immortal hand, what supernatural hand, or what kind of a hand which is like who is that immortal being, like immortal being who with his immortal hand and eye could frame your symmetry. And that symmetry is how that symmetry is fearful. Okay, it's a kind of a image the that speaker has been creating, which is not the soothing one like the other one of that lamp. It's no more soothing, it's something which is taking you out of your normal zone. As well as you are listening to it, you are feeling some kind of some kind of a feeling which is awe at the same time, and it's striking you, isn't it? It's taking you out of your zone, but there's a feeling of beauty too, okay, present, and it's something which is like which is quite formless, isn't, because this symmetry is not the symmetry which you can find in a well defined lamp. Okay, here the symmetry is fearful, isn't, so it's the beauty of the sublime. Okay, so in a what distant depths or skies. Okay, so it says that in what distant depths or skies burn the fire of thine eyes. Like if we see it, if we try to do a little breaking of that words, if we first start with that word deep, then we can find that deep can mean hell. Okay, like what distant hand from hell, and the sky can mean heaven. Okay, like what distant hand from heaven, like one that he had asked what distant hand from hell or either from heaven burn the fire of thine eyes, because Tyger's eyes are looking like it's burning. Okay, this is what that fearful symmetry does look like, and how it is if you take it when you are seeing a kind of a harmless animal like lamb, you are finding it to be soothing, it to be gentle, it to be meek, mild, but at the same time when you are seeing an animal like a tiger, you are no more finding it to be soothing and like that meek and mild. You are not finding, because you know at any time it can attack you, person, and you know that it's no more resigned to be submissive to you, because it is not supposed to be submissive to you. If you can do something, and even if you can't do it, it can attack you, person. So it has an eyes which is fire like, because you are too getting scared of it. Okay, this is hard. It does work in that way, reciprocal. It's not just it's having the power to make you feel submissive, but you do know your capability and you know that you can't win over it. That's why you are feeling that it has an eye which can burn you. And on what points there he aspired. So the person who had made that creature, Tyger, that narrator is asking on which points he had aspired. In what hand there sees the fire. Okay, that at because the eye had been given a fire, so the question is like at which hand that creator had taken that fire in order to make that tiger. Here the allusion definitely goes to that mythical imagery of Icarus, who is present in Greek mythology, who had like gone too near to that sun and burned, and as well as that can be imagery to Prometheus, who had stolen fire in order to give life to human being. You must have heard of the story of Prometheus. So that question is like that tiger is burning inside due to its daring nature. It's a lethal, is it? So the question is that the creator must be more bold in order to make it, because if you are creating something which is so powerful, you must be powerful too in order to create it, isn't? So then it says this one, and what shoulder and what earth could twist the sinews of thy heart. Okay, if you go line by line, then you can find where the child narrator in Lamb was describing that that lamb in a very positive way, in a very childlike way. Okay, very that you have very tender voice who had given you have a cloth of delight who had given you. Such questions were asked there. Here it is like, what shoulder, what art could twist the sinews of thy heart? It's like who had given you the life. Heart is here, you can take heart is a synodicy of life. Okay, synodicy is that one word is representing another word when both are intimately connected. Heart is connected with the life. Okay, because if heart doesn't beat, you can't live. Okay, so it's like who had created, like with which shoulder, and what the artist must be who had created you. When thy heart began to beat, what tread hand, what tread feet? Okay, so when you came to life, okay, when tiger ultimately came to life, then what straight feet, what straight hand, what the hammer, what the chain. So here the creator no more the lamp. Okay, or that creator as called as a lamp. Here the creator is someone who had created the tiger with the use of hammer. So can you think it's a blacksmith? You can think of it. Then what the chain, in what furnace was thy brain? It feels to the narrator now that tiger has been created like a way that it has been burnt. It just like blacksmith does make his metal and his product by burning it in a fire, and then doing work with chain. Okay, then what the chain, in what furnace was thy brain? What thy anvil, what red grass? There is deadly terrace glass. Okay, what the powerful person who has created you and who take a hold over you, because the creator is someone who takes hold over you. No, then what the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears. Did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the limb make them? So like when you have been created, did the creator has smiled after seeing his creation? And the last final question is that, is the same creator who created the lamp created you? So then in between these lines you find lines like, stars threw down their spears and water heaven with their tears. It cares that, was it that there something like stars were throwing their spears when you have come to life, or was there sadness falling over the heaven after seeing you? So it's a very big question. We'll go to the philosophical meaning of it as we have gone in the lamp. Okay, because these poems are philosophical in nature, has a deep biblical meaning, deep symbolic meaning, and as well as existential meaning. Okay. So Tyger, burning bright in the forest of the night, what immortal hand or eye could dare frame thy fearful symmetry? So when you are reading, you are finding that that's the first stanza repeated. But here's the difference, okay? In the first stanza, you must have seen that there wasn't present in the last line. But here it's present in the first stanza, but it was good. Okay, but here is there. So ultimately, he's totally the narrator. That speaker has felt that he had submitted. He had felt totally that. Fear, and he had given all the things to the tiger. It's a kind of a feeling of awe because he had felt terror definitely, but that terror has come not only from the fear. Okay, there's a difference between fear and awe. Okay, fear is something you can get scared of. Okay, it may be something dangerous and anything, but awe is something. There are also presence of fear, but this fear is coming from a kind of a sense of a sense of difference. Okay, this is something you may feel. Okay, that it makes you feel quite boundless and you feel out of yourself. Okay, this is the difference between fear and awe. Fear is making you scared, but still you are out of yourself. Okay, you are inside of yourself, but when you are at war, you are getting scared and you are quite out of yourself. So that's why this poem ends. Now if I go to that philosophical meaning, then just like the lamp poem had to the speaker ask questions like, who had made you, what hand made your this fearful symmetry, who had given you life, and who had taken that fire for you, and how you have been existing, and is it the same creator who created the land had created you? So questions are maybe same, but the images are different. While in the lamp, images were soothing, images were suggesting the innocence of the narrator, as well as the lamps. Here the imagery is no more claiming the same. Here imagery is not only giving the narrator a feeling of terror, a feeling of awe, a feeling of sublimity. The same feeling is being felt by us reader too. Okay. So here the very big question has been asked if we go to that existential part, that God had created us. Okay, so like that way God had created every good creatures, be it lamb. So then the question comes, then how the same God had created some worse creatures or some evil creatures? So the question comes, the same God had created Satan too. So this is the question, that how it is God is almighty, then how could he create creature like a tiger who is totally opposite to an innocent creature like a lamb? So the narrator is asking, is the same God? And then the question comes, if he had made it, then after making it, was he happy? Because it's the truth, no, that we often think of it, that if there's God had created all the good creatures, all the angels, isn't, then why it is there still presence of evil? Okay, that then why there's evil, we most often think of it, no? Then why there's Satan? So that's the same question being asked, that what it is. Okay, so there are so many imageries we get, and so many way the narrator is at the awe, and if the same feeling had been felt by we readers when we read it, because it's the poem which calls for that consideration of ours in order to understand that some existence are present. Okay, so if we take in the way that God made it, by knowing every part of it, God knew that there's this is something I'm making which won't be part of that goodness, and it would later become to be an evil. So if God knew it, then we ask that why he had created it, and if he had created it, was he happy after creating it? And when he saw that what that creation had done, what was his actual reaction? Okay, so was that the question. But if you go another reason, okay, then I must say that if there was not presence of evil, then maybe the scenario might have been much more better, which is quite utopic. But another thing can be said, that we never could have known the value of goodness. Okay, there's presence of evil, that's why we understand the presence of goodness. How it is, we can absolutely go by that a thought that you have to know one thing, in order to know one thing you have to know the opposite. That's definitely to work. We know evil, that's why we know the value of goodness. Okay, otherwise we must have thought, what is goodness? Okay, you meet with a bad incident in your life, then you can understand the value of celebrating good incident which happens in your life, isn't? You meet some people who are so evil in nature, then only you understand the blessings of having good people in your life, isn't? So this does work in that way, although it is not totally meant by the poem. It's a philosophical poem, it's a biblical poem, it's a poem having question related to creation, question related to that thought which always comes to a human being as a part of this whole creation of a God. And that the question has been asked totally opposite to the lamp, and here that poem is representing the collection of songs of experience. So that why that poem is not showing you something like innocence, like where everyone is living in a pastoral setting while the child narrator is happy after seeing lamb's beauty and lamb's innocence, and as well as lamb is having its moment of happiness, and there's that all prevailing goodness. There's no more in the tiger present here. Tiger is burning at night, is having is a moment where it may maybe it may can indicate some moment of danger, and that's something which the speaker is seeing, and the speaker is feeling awe, at the same time a terror beyond explanation, something which he can't explain even through his words. This is the feeling which is going through his heart. When we are reading, we are finding that the time has changed, and this is what. So if we take again to that imagery of Genesis, which secondary reference present in Paradise Lost, as I have already taken that reference in Lamb, then Tiger, what happens, like you know the story that I have told you, that is only enticed by Satan, that Adam and Eve ate that fruit, okay, fruit of the knowledge tree, otherwise they might have never taken it. So, and that story of that Satan, whose real name is not Satan, okay, it's an angel, Lucifer. It was an angel, it was something God created with goodness, but it has rebelled against God. It was someone who is to think it's better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven. Okay, so he had rebelled against God, and so many others were with that Lucifer, who too rebelled, and then they made their own team, and that's what did work against that God. So this was saying that that thing is present, as we can find in the image of that tiger, that is saying that there are so many things. Innocence is always lurked by the danger of experience, as the narrator is trying to say, but still innocence can be restored as long as it can be preserved by God and preserved by the nature, as well as it feel happiness with its pastoral living, then it's having its blessing. Otherwise it's lacked by the danger, which may be its doorstep. Okay, and it can anytime harm it. So that's a very simple poem may look like. It's written by William Blake, and his poems are very beautiful. Okay, gives you a feeling of rhyme. Listen, and there's lines like, as I tell you, and the narrator here is in a moment of sublime. It has seen a beauty. It's a beauty, okay, it's not something else. It's a beauty which is not that refined or that limited beauty. It's a beauty which is which has been become boundless, and it's fearful symmetry. Okay, this is what we can go to that section of Kant. If I read one day with you Kant text on sublime. Okay, although back one too will do philosophical inquiry into the origin of our thoughts, sublime and beautiful we can do, but I mostly advise you to read the poem first once or twice, then read little bit the biblical allusions. As I tell you, these are very much necessary, and I think if you listen my videos still you can understand the poem. Okay, for the timing that much only, will soon be back with a new video, and please subscribe the channel to get notification on time. Thank you for watching.